discretion is advised.
Happy Monday, you're listening and or watching PWNCAST. This is episode 173. We are in patch 7.2.5 for a very brief moment in time. Tonight we're going to be talking about all your news for World of Warcraft. We have pet battle stuff going on coming in 7.3. We have lore galore, guys. Did you see what I did there? Lore galore. Get it? Get it? No? I get nothing there? Got it. Okay. Cool. Moving on. We're going to be doing another patch 7.3 breakdown because the patch is coming soon. So I want to make sure that you are all prepared. Get it again? Another joke? No? God, I'm just not killing it tonight. We have that and much, much more. So make sure you guys stay right here.
You have crossed into the world of the dead in search of answers.
Amongst the Azeroth elite, there is a group that defies convention. A group that stands in the face of trolls and doesn't flinch. A group that strives on unity, trust, and unwavering resolve. A group that eats tacos. For the players, by the players, we bring you. She can start a revolt with a Chaos Bolt, Bell, the PWNCAST Vanguard. Snap back and get faster for the Pet Battle Grandmaster, Gemma Banks. He's sharp as a dagger with that dapper swagger, Secret Sauce. With holy might as strong as his ancient knowledge, Remedies, the Argent Loremaster. We bow to no one. We are Legion. We are PWNCAST.
So, because of that awful snap from Secret before the show, actually during the credits or the intro, I don't know if I want to unmute because that was not a flattering picture, Secret.
This is your fault.
It was like the opposite of flattering. It was like my resting bitch face and my grumpy face, because you know my resting bitch face is just my normal face, but I actually have a grumpy face, if you guys can imagine that for just a second. That does occur. It was like all that wrapped in one.
Business as usual.
Yeah, basically my everyday attire.
We are unmuted.
Yeah,
Finally.
You guys are unmuted.
Okay.
Jim is like, damn.
There. Okay, I got a better one here this time. I got a better one.
He just sent it directly to you. At least it's not for the public.
I screenshotted it anyway, just because I feel like I can use that as a GIF somehow, some way or something. But I did bring the Riders of Rohan with me. We have all of them here today, guys. It's a special treat.
2 weeks in a row.
I know. People are going to be in an arms uproar because shit's
people
going down.
People are going to be talking shit. That's what they're going to be doing.
I know, because that's what people do for sure.
We're already trending on Twitter.
We're trending on what, Jim?
Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
I don't think that's what you meant to say, but we're just going to go ahead with that one. I'll let that one slide.
That one was cute. That was good.
Yeah, remind me to mark that on the...
Yeah, you better trademark that one.
The timer for people to make sure they replay that to see if you can catch Jim's slip of the tongue. I don't really know what I'm saying here.
Some people like that.
I did bring the monk who is the defender of random wildlife squirrels honor, Gemma Banks.
I was worried about them. I know a couple weeks ago I had a pretty funny squirrel tweet where it was just laying there on the cement spread eagle, and today from the building there was 3 squirrels. They were all fighting. At first I thought it was like one watching the fight, but they ended up all 3 of them rolling around, and I wasn't sure what was going on, so I banged on the window to break it up. But,
I think he thought that 2 might have been taking advantage of the 1.
I know, right?
I did say that pre-show. I didn't really want to say, but there was a little rapey vibe at first. But in honor of the squirrel madness at work and these squirrels that almost look like bears, like mini bear squirrels, I thought of maybe doing a squirrel pet battle team. We could do like
and bear squirrel.
If you don't follow him on Snapchat, you're missing out, because between his squirrel tweets or Snapchats and his dog Snapchats, like his dog is a people, guys. Like the dog sits in chairs and waves at you, like he's totally a people. So yeah, it's their quality Snapchats for sure.
Squirrel.
And I want to call to attention, Gemma called me from work on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
It was a total accident, and I was cleaning my bathroom on Sunday. Like, I was sweating all over the place because I was, like, I woke up and was like, okay, we're going to clean everything today. And he video chatted me with me looking haggard, and he was on the phone doing his customer service Gemma voice, and he was like being all professional. And
Did he say a bunch of sorries?
no, he didn't say sorry, but he does have a very professional voice, guys. It's a treat if you've never heard him at work.
Wow.
I can be professional.
And then I
shit.
tagged him on Facebook, so hopefully he's not friends with his boss, because then his boss knew that he was Facebook video
Facebook
chatting.
at work.
You're not supposed to have your phone on the floor.
Yeah, he's busted, because I'm pretty
Got
sure, not to make this weird, guys, don't make this weird, but I'm pretty sure I was in his crotch initially, because I was looking when he called me, and I was trying to figure out what I was staring at, and it turned out it was his pants. So we don't have to make this weird. He had pants on at work, guys. He's not that
I hope so.
kind of.
Were they khakis?
They were actually, because I ran out of all like summer clothes. So I had to wear my actual like office clothes, which I don't wear at work anymore because I'm.
And I didn't know they were khakis. They look like gray jeans to me, and I meant to say something like, "Who the fuck even wears gray jeans?"
Completely off topic, but if you're like in a call center, like, why would you have to dress professionally anyway?
You don't.
Because
But,
they would like you to.
well,
I actually know the answer to that question.
yeah.
Like Jim's call center is probably business casual, so it's less on the business side. But the reason that they do that is because if they allow their employees to dress any kind of way they want, even though clients don't see them, it sets the bar really low for how employees behave at work. So in order to maintain that professionalism, that's actually the reason they have them.
So
do
it's
business
psychological
casual.
warfare. Copy.
I only know because I was a manager, and that was my question to upper management. Why am I forcing my people to wear stuff nobody ever sees them? Why can't I just come in flip flops? And then
Oh, the agents don't have to actually. It's more of the managers.
Oh,
and I
okay.
used to be a manager, and I stepped down. That was the whole joke.
that
if
was
you
when we
were
thought you were fired.
no job, right?
We
'cause
were
I had to
100% sure that you were fired and just didn't
Yeah.
want to tell us that you were in fact fired from your job.
just step down.
I'm still convinced that you were put on some type of suspension because
No,
you were
I told
out
them to beat it, and I said I'm not coming back as a manager. I'll come back as an agent. So
There you
not
go.
Warcraft related, but let's.
It's important. Our
some more
stuff
fun.
that goes on in our real lives is, mildly
Yeah.
important to those that, that care. I did also bring the priest who actually heals the soul in real life. Secret sauce.
Yes, I do.
I'm going to have to call that out, though, because you ain't healed my soul. So,
You don't have one, so you
that's
can't heal it.
valid. You're right.
Ooh.
I died
You're
inside
right.
a long time ago. You are 100% right.
See, so you're different. But
So are you giving therapy sessions in your work parking lot? Is that what's happening?
actually, that's kind of funny because I actually have. So, and I do it at work, like on the clock. So, yeah,
I have therapy with the guildies. I have a few guildies that
I've
sometimes they
had
just
therapy
want-
with quite a few of them too.
Yeah, sometimes they just really need to talk about their problems, and I'm okay
I'm not
listening
supposed to
because...
talk about our therapy session.
Well, I'm not supposed to tell...
We didn't say
No.
names, Rem.
Yeah, right.
I didn't either.
Rem has come to Jesus meetings with me at least twice a week. Like, those are... He
You both
really...
need to be saved.
Jesus doesn't want none of my shit.
I'm not allowed to even say his name in a sentence anymore, I think, at this point. There's no redemption here, guys. We are beyond saving.
There's no absolution for you.
I also brought the Paladin who was pumping iron in the pet battle world at Remedies because he can't get his ass spanked by Gemma Banks, the pet battle
I'm
grandmaster.
getting ready to kick his ass.
However, not to call anybody out, but Gemma's a little rusty, so you might be okay.
Think so, Rem? This
Yeah,
is
you're
your-
like you were like Rocky in your prime time, and now your House of Elsa Sloan is now. Like,
No, the
You mean
comparison.
all like riddled with stroke and can barely smile? Is that
Wrong story. You're like McGregor stepping into my world, and my
Whoa.
jabs and punches are quick as ever.
Whoa.
Wow.
Listen,
You went there, huh?
not for nothing, and I know we talk about only WoW stuff, but his suit that he wore to their like thing where they give each other's faces where it said "fuck you," that's something I would wear. And I'm just wondering if I could buy that. Like, if anybody knows where I could buy that suit, I would love to just walk around.
I think
and-
they have shirts that
Yeah, that would be
are
super awesome for
lined
me.
with "fuck you." Yeah.
That's funny.
That would be like the greatest day ever, so that I wouldn't have to say it so much. I could just walk around and people would just know. And when people talk
And you
to
could just
me,
smile.
Yeah, when people talk to me that I don't like, I would just point to like the "fuck you" on my shirt, which should be
Which one?
all of them.
Yeah.
I would just be
All
like,
the,
here.
all the fucks, huh?
Here's
Just get like a voice recorder, and then you'll say your
know.
top favorite 3 things with the push of a button.
it would just be "fuck you" 3 times. In truth, that's pretty much.
That's cute.
but
They could be
yeah.
with different tones, right? Angry, angrier, angriest.
Yeah. Maybe.
Right. So we don't have a lot of news going on this week, but we are going to do a patch 7.3 breakdown. I think the reality is we all know at this point it's going to be the 29th. of August, excuse me, for the patch. I'll be really surprised if it isn't. My article that I wrote for Method for the 7.3 breakdown says it's the 29th, but I didn't write that. The editor that edited added that in there, so I'm assuming that at this point we're safe to say, even though Blizzard has not officially announced it. I do want to disclaim and say, because Blizzard has not officially announced it, it does not mean if something happens and they're not ready for it to be, happening then. Well, I mean, I'm disclaiming by saying that it is not official, written in blue wording. So just your good old-fashioned sleuth detective work done by the community and stuff like that to figure that out.
I did read your article and I was like, yeah, the 29th. I'm like, sweet.
Yeah,
So
it wasn't it just magically showed up. Rem was like, hey, you got confirmation of the 29th? And I'm like, no. So apparently we're going with that because I have an editor that edits that. So
There you go.
that was added. But so with that being said, now remember back when we talked about Battlenet being moved to where it was just going to be called the Blizzard app, right? To me, that didn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, I get you're trying to brand your name Blizzard, but you don't really have to brand your name. Everybody knows who the fuck you are. Like, when people talk about actual blizzards, like snow blizzards, I don't think snow blizzards. I think Blizzard. So my mind is mentally trained that no matter when the word blizzard happens, that's automatically what I think. I'm like, what? Blizzard's in Florida? It's snowing?
Google knows
What?
me too. If I type in Blizzard, it shows all the games and.
Yeah, there's no other word there for me. Once you live the Blizzard life, you are the Blizzard life. So they did make, they posted a tweet or a news thing, and then I saw it on Twitter, where they talked about transitioning away from Battle.net. Now, the funny thing is, me and Rem were talking about this pre-show. I was always going to say Battle.net. Never was I ever
still say
going,
it.
like, I was never going to call it the Blizzard app. So they decided that they're going to transition the two. So it's going to be the Blizzard Battle.net, which is great. It'll be the Blizzard icon. That all those things are awesome, but please don't try to rebrand yourself after a gajillion years of being the same thing. And we have all gotten accustomed to Battle.net.
And it's,
we're not going to call it whatever else you try to call it.
Yeah, it's been Battle.net for 20 years.
Yeah, it just is what it is, and that's who we are. So, but I appreciate that they're just connecting Blizzard to the Battlenet, so it's going to be the Blizzard Battlenet, and it's going to have the Blizzard logo versus the Battlenet logo, which is fine. The Battlenet logo, although we know what it is, I think it makes sense for the Blizzard logo to be there in its place.
I agree.
I don't particularly like the changes made to Battlenet recently with the ugly-ass ghetto child-drawn icons on the left-hand side. Now, I'm going to go on the record and say that was a step backward, in my opinion, visually. I think that making those icons kind of ghetto the way that they did with the really matte-looking colors, the flat-looking colors, I really was disappointed that they did that. But they're not here for me. They're here for the community. So if the people at Blizzard think that looks great visually,
I like matte colors. So.
I think it's just really ugly. They took a step back visually where the icons they had before were really nice. These are just very flat looking colors. There's no dimension to them, and it looks like one of my kids did a paint by numbers. So to me, I'm not overly impressed with that look, but it's functional, which at the end of the day is really all that matters. But I want to know, does anybody else share that hate for the icons, or is it just me being super bitchy? Just me.
A little of column A.
Those of you at home that are normal and typically think the way that I do in some scenarios, if you can comment and let me know, how you feel about that, because it's.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, just tell us how you really feel, because it's not, it's not the business.
Prove all wrong. Okay.
What's funny is we were talking about that noise pre-show, and I hear that noise now. Does anybody else hear that, or is it just me? That is so weird, how it just randomly, your silence, and then weird happens. So weird. Guys, for those of you that have pointed out Secrets Audio, we've been trying to isolate the issue. We have no idea. It doesn't do that pre-show.
I have everything off in my house.
But I think me and Jim heard it at the same time because we both stared at each other when we heard it. It was super funny. I think at this point it might be a mic setting, which we can. I think the mic might be compensating for the fact that it's quiet in the background.
No, my fan's off. Everything's off. The only fan that's on is the actual computer fan.
No, but it might just be the ambient noise in the background at your mic. Your mic might be pushing that sound forward because it's quiet. I don't know.
You're turning.
Probably the computer though too.
I'm not an audiologist, so
maybe he's turning things and people on at the same time.
Oh my. So, if
Nice.
you do agree with the ghetto of the
Nice.
icons, paint by number icons with the new Battlenet look, please let me know. And if you don't agree and you think it looks lovely, we can.
If you think Belle's being super bitchy, leave a comment.
At least I mean,
don't care.
I don't
It is what it
shame
is.
myself. I'm me, and I'm okay with being super
Shame.
bitchy. The Legion Dungeon bonus event is up this week, so make sure you go and do the cha-cha and make your stuff happen. Most of you do dungeons
Sweet.
anyway, so.
Yeah, because we'll get a pretty good item of gear potentially, right?
Item
Trial
of-
of Style.
Possibly.
Yes.
Item
Trial of Styles coming August 17th through the 21st. That's where you get to boo and heckle people, and you get to have summer themes and winter themes of various transmogs and,
Whoa.
whatever weird stuff's on display during that time. At least this is interactable, unlike the dance party. That was not my favorite.
You hate that dance
I
party.
did. I absolutely hate it. It made me really sad in my soul. If I had feelings, I'm dead inside, so I was
That's right.
relatively
I-
unaffected.
I did laugh when you tagged me on the video on Facebook where you said actual footage from Jim at DitchCon.
That
pretty
video is,
funny.
I think, like 2 or 3 years old. And every time it crosses my news feed, I think of you. And I don't know why particularly that video makes me think of you. I'm not sure if it's the Usher song or if it's the nerdy white guy. Like, I'm not really
I
sure.
think it's both. Yeah,
But
maybe a
it's
little
his
both.
face. He's so serious about his dancing, and he thinks he's really good.
That's Jim right there.
Yeah, the correlation is uncanny, really. I'm laughing just thinking about it now.
I
Also,
am too.
last week, Kill Jaden was released for LFR. Boy, is that a bunch of fun, fresh fuckery, because
Oh, I didn't do it.
our poor Aja wiped like 13 times and they didn't even get stacks of determination because they were wiping like
Too early.
too early. So, listen, it's rough on normal, it's rough on heroic, it's rough on mythic, it's rough on LFR. Especially when,
It's supposed to be.
well, not on LFR, it's not, but
To a degree. It's not even that bad. Took like
Well, at least
45
it sets people up for at least some
45
sort of
the
minutes.
majority of the
expectation.
people that I know, it was several wipes before.
Oh no. I was
got-
just lucky on all my attempts.
Determination got up to 6 when I
Yeah.
know that. We didn't have determination when I joined it too.
Yeah. When you join the LFR, that's one boss, and there's a bunch of bones around you, that means get the fuck out,
Yeah.
because it's not going to be a good time. So whenever I join and there's a bunch of dead bones and there's only like one boss left, I'm like, oh, okay, this is going to be super fun. Can't wait to wipe a bunch of times and have people tell me I'm garbage.
Pay all sorts of gold.
Yeah,
My
I have
favorite.
people tell me I'm trash and it's all my fault and blaming people for pulling when it was really the other person that pulled.
That's all just in pre-show.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's what details is for.
Right.
Exactly.
Which Rem is now an advocate for details. He was like pro recount or SCADA for like the longest time, and then
Fuck SCADA.
he installed details and was super happy with it. So that's always good for me when we can
Well,
make Rem happy.
Because Recount did his job since BC for me, so I was like, okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's how I felt when you guys were recommending details. I'll have to try it out.
Yeah,
then.
until somebody shows you another path, you're always going to be on the same road. And sometimes it's okay to try that path out. You don't have to go all the way down that new pass road, but tread lightly. And, that was a lot of analogy right there, guys. I'm not really sure where I was
Yeah,
going.
no, that I don't want to know. Or,
I felt like I was going someplace, and it failed.
Well, I just thought of saying like, oh, you could end up on a podcast, and then thinking
Right.
of Beth and I.
Now, instead of having my traditional segment be at the end, I wanted to talk about 7.3, and I want to do that before the segments. That way you guys can get what you need in the beginning and, have everything that you need, and then I'll just forego my segment. So let's talk about 7.3. Now, we talked about this a few times before, but there's been a lot of additions. There's a lot of things that were discovered in the data mining process that we didn't know when I first talked about this, but this is going to be pretty comprehensive. So make sure you go to method.gg and look up this guide. It should be on the first page if you want, to bookmark for visual sake. Now, there's so many news websites that are covering this information. All I do is grab from all of the resources and I give the chunk of information that is important to players. I'm not talking about caster animations. I'm not talking about tier gear. There's 20 million websites you can go to for that. This is the meat and potatoes of what you're going to need and what you should know going into the patch, because that is essentially what's important. Now, unfortunately, Rem and I weren't able to do too much in there because I check every day and my quest is still bugged and I can't move any further. I'm just stuck. So, yeah, we didn't get to do much outside of kill weird things in the wild. So let's talk about a couple things just in case you guys are not aware. So obviously, you know by now, we're traveling to Argus. We might have accidentally spoiled how we get there, but I don't really think we spoiled because me and Rem don't even really know. We made an assumption because the cutscene wasn't there, so
It was more speculation, yeah.
yeah,
But I mean,
I don't know the
Yeah.
manner in which, what happens for us to get there and what was, we don't really know that because we just show up there. Like it just, boom, you're there. There was no cutscene in PTR for us to do that. So, there's going to be 3 zones and, I still don't know how to pronounce them, but we're going to go with Crocoon, maybe, question mark. Rem will be sure to. Crocoon. Macquarie, which I've been calling McCree, so I don't really know which it is, but the way that it's spaced out tells me that it's not McCree.
just be careful when it's high noon on that zone.
That's what I thought. I thought the same thing, but I don't know if it's. I'm pretty sure it's Macquarie. I don't know what it is. And then
I love macaroons.
Antoran Waste is the only one I can pronounce. So, with ease, guys, I'm saying with ease. Antoran Waste, those are going to be the 3 zones. The way you're going to travel on Argus, there's no flight points, which is. It was a little bit shocking when Rem and I discovered there was no flight points. However, there's a teleportation system, which is the same basic system for the invasion points, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. So basically, you'll unlock the different portals throughout Argus as you're going through that content. You'll have access to that. In the main hub, and your only safe zone is going to be the Vindicar, which is a ship that hovers just above the main spots on all 3 zones. Me and Rem haven't made it to the 3rd zone yet, but there's basically a mirror Vindicar in each zone, which is kind of weird. I don't really understand that, to be perfectly honest with you, but
Yeah.
it's a little weird that there's 2. And I'm assuming when we get to the 3rd, zone that there's going to be 3. But you can teleport from side to side, and then you have the little side teleports that you can take to take you where you need to go. Obviously, this means there's no flying on Argus.
Yeah, it's not mirror, it's separate ships.
With the same exact NPCs and everything there. So it's kind of weird.
Oh, you're talking about like when you're teleporting and all that.
Yeah, when you teleport from the Vindicar on Antoran Waste to the Vindicar on Crocoon.
That's you. Your phase is moving the ship over there. That's why it just shows it on the map still.
I never would have known. See, this is why we have Rem, guys, because he helps make sense of the world. I would have just been calling it several Vindicars because I'm retarded. To be fair, that you wouldn't really know that, though.
Yeah, no, it's not like explained. It's just like all
either
of a sudden,
you're really smart or I'm really dumb. So I just need you to go with it's just make me feel better about myself.
Always.
So this.
I like your hair.
This likely, I know I touched it up. This likely means we are not going to be, probably not ever going to have flying on Argus. Which, when I think about it from a scientific standpoint, part of the zone is broke apart and is like floating there with the rest of the planet. So I don't.
So it's like Nether storm.
I don't really know that flying would be a possibility anyway with the gravity.
When legs to.
Yeah,
differ.
I don't really know. I'm not really a scientist, guys, but I'm just thinking that it wouldn't be possible anyway. It's rough if you're not flying because there's really big giant fell reavers and some shit just roaming around the planet. And me and Rem were hiding. We have to hide behind rocks and shit so we don't.
I know it gave me flashbacks to the fell reaver when I was running around.
We were.
I
ran like a bitch and I have no shame.
Yeah,
I have no shame.
Like you hear the stomping and you see it, and it's like, oh fuck.
And it shakes your, it does that thing where, how when you fly into the one flight path in Val'Shara, how it shakes because I don't know if something's getting thrown or the thing's walking, but it like shakes your screen.
Right, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so it's very scary. But it's nice to be afraid of stuff, right? Like it's good for me to fear something because in our overpowering as we go through our stages in the different expansions, we don't really have that fear. We only have it for a little while when it's new content and then,
You're right.
Yeah, so it's nice to have that.
Also, on the game side, it wouldn't make sense for them to be flying on Argus because this is like such a small portion of it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make sense for them to have flying because you'd have invisible walls pretty much everywhere.
I love invisible walls. Just kidding.
We're not mimes.
Whoa.
So.
Yeah.
There's 2 factions on Argus, the Army of the Light. After the fall of Argus, the Draenei's finest warriors followed the prime Naru Zera?
Sahara?
I don't know. Across the
Zimra.
cosmos in an external war to bring about the Legion's end. Since then, other survivors of the Burning Crusade have joined the ranks of the Light Forge. Now, the Army of Light, obviously, we talked about mounts previously. There is a war, the Light Forged Golem, which is a Paragon drop, question mark. I don't remember. I knew this the other day. But...
Exalted.
Oh, it is Exalted. Okay. And then there's Argusian Reach. Not really sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
You said it perfectly.
Although many struggled to oppose the Burning Legion's conquest of Argus, not all were able to escape. Emboldened by the arrival of new allies, these refugees and outcasts stand united in their mission to reclaim their home. One of you is typing. If you could mute, that would be super awesome. Artifact knowledge changes that are coming our way. Now, we've talked about this a few times, but I did get some more clarification, and I'm really happy that I actually had to do this write-up because it allowed me to have to dig for what I needed. So the artifact cap is increased to 55. This is, as of this moment in PTR, it's 55, which basically the current cap is 40. Instead of doing your traditional artifact research to gain levels, you'll gain 1 artifact knowledge level automatic via the global bonus once a week. So what does this mean on an alt reality? The artifact research compendiums that you get for your alts, those actually are null and void. You won't be using those anymore. When I was checking this out, I noticed it on my own anyway when I went into PTR. So right now in PTR, Bell's at artifact knowledge 47, which is what it should be starting from the beginning of the patch at that 1 week, 7 weeks, whatever is what it's been in. It's researched the knowledge 7 times on its own. When I copied my alts over, all my alts were at 47. So whatever the highest tune is, your other tunes are going to be that same with it. So you don't you don't have to worry about
neat, thank God.
Picking up the compendium anymore.
That's the craziest catcher mechanic they've ever had.
It's the same as when you did the I can't think of the fucking currency for PvP, and I lived it for a really long time.
Honor?
No, the other one.
I was going to say honor. Conquest.
Yeah, so if you guys recall...
you have like a cap of like 27,000.
Yeah, so it does that, except it does it with the research. But it's the same thing. Like if you roll an alt in PvP, whatever that week you should be at for your cap, then that cap will be there. But it's the same thing. But you still had to
work for it, whereas now like it's just... boom.
And the reason that they're doing that, and this came out of Ian Hazakostas' mouth, we don't want you to focus on the weapon anymore in that regard because you guys have already been there, done that. Now we're wrapping things up. We're giving it the last little ramp up so that we can hand these weapons over at the end of the expansion. Now, instead of focusing on artifact power on your alts and on your main, you're still going to be doing that, of course, but the main focus is going to be the Netherlight Crucible, which we're going to talk about here in a second. So what they want to do is they want to shift people's focus from catching up the weapon and doing all those things, because by now in the expansion, everybody should have already done that, and your focus shouldn't be spending X amount of days and hours working on alts weapons and alt spec weapons, because you've already been there, done that. There's no, there's no need for that. So basically, this will allow you to focus on the Netherlight Crucible. I don't understand what's being... Did I say crushable? I pronounced it right. Fuck you.
No, you didn't.
I said crucible.
You said it crucible now. You said
Of all the fucking things I pronounced wrong and right, that's the one thing you guys are focused on? Of all the things that I've said in the last 20 minutes, you guys are focused on the one thing.
Well, because you emphasize crucible.
I'm so sick of your guys' shit. Like, I literally can't
I'm not
even
part
hear
of this.
No, Jimmy, you are the only nice one, because I don't see a chat here from you with them being assholes.
What? Read chat.
The point is, everybody knows what I mean. All of you are aware that mispronouncing it didn't tell you guys. You guys weren't like, oh my God, what is Belle even talking about? So there's this. On to what I was saying. So what the Netherlight Crucible is, God forbid you put a fucking H in there. Basically, this is a new way to progress your artifact weapon. So we won't be able to unlock this until week 3, I believe. And it'll be there's a separate forge on the ship, the Vindicar ship, for being able to do this. Now, what does this mean? So this Crucible, basically what it does is you get the relics that you slot will open up traits and abilities. Most of these, I don't think
That's
there's
kinda
any.
cool.
I didn't see any on use. I think they were all passive, and they add stuff to your. It adds stuff like haste increased by 1950, movement speed increased by 650. It's the rank light speed, and it has ranks on it. Now, although there's some RNG, because depending on your relic, you'll get a different set of options. So when you swap your relic, you're going to get a different set of options. Two cool things here, though. One, and this Ian stated this very clearly in the Q&A, yes, although the traits you can pick from are RNG, you don't have to pick the worst of the list. So if you get 3 traits and there's one really shit one, you don't have to pick that because it's your choice. You're ultimately deciding what traits you add to this relic. And 2, you'll actually get to see what, before you socket it, it will show you what the traits
capable
are.
of.
So you
That's
know
cool.
if you don't want to remove what you have there, whatever. Now, also, I don't recommend saving your relics, because we're not even going to be able to use this until 3 weeks in. It's likely that you're going to get higher item level relics in whatever content that you're
of
running.
course.
So I think I've seen some things on the forums about people
Saving them.
saving their relics. I wouldn't. I mean, if you want to for an alt, perhaps, but we're not going to be able to use this for at least 3 weeks after the patch. So to me, you'll probably get better relics anyway. Maybe you want to use it on an alt to test. I don't really know.
Yeah, it's not until like late September.
Yeah. So, and it'll have its own UI. I think it's really cool because that's what we get to focus on, and I appreciate that. And it gives you the option of having some different passive abilities and additional tools in your toolkit to be successful on Argus and in the raid too. So,
You right? Yeah.
sometimes I'm right. It's not very often.
Yeah, you're doing all right tonight
I know, I'm making it.
because you just crush a lot,
I hate you all. I really hate you. Invasion points. So I'm going to be really honest, guys. This confused me greatly. And when I did this write-up, I spent 30 minutes just figuring out if invasion points and Argus rifts were the same fucking thing. I don't know if anybody else shared that confusion here, but there's no definitive guide on these because Icy Veins did a guide that's months old. It's like a month and a half old, and it's nothing new. And then Wowhead did a guide that doesn't even make any fucking sense. So I had to really dig deep to try to figure out what this stuff was because I was super confused because I didn't do any of this stuff in PTR.
Right.
The good news is I figured it out, guys, I think. So the invasion points, basically, they're also called Argus Rifts or Rifts, whatever. Obviously, we took it from Diablo. It's not like we stole
So
it because...
greater rifts.
Yeah, there's going to be greater and lesser rifts, but basically this will be a new way to fight the Legion on different worlds. So this isn't on Argus. This is different worlds in general.
Wow.
They're going to be replayable, repeatable. You have to use rift stones to be able to gain access. So basically you hit an invasion point via that network portal that we talked about earlier, and you go there, you put in you have 2. You have a charged rift stone. This allows you access to lesser or greater rifts, and then you have a depleted rift stone. This allows you access to lesser rifts. I actually have 2 charged rift stones in my bag on Bell and PTR. They did drop from Argus. It might have dropped from a rare. I'm not 100% sure. I just know that it's in my bag. But basically, you go to these different worlds, you complete the objectives, you get things for this, and it takes you all over the cosmos. There's themed invasion rifts, invasion points, whatever you want to call them, they're
Right.
themed. So you have one that's forest, one that's blood, one that's fire, one that's ice, luminescence, marsh, swamp, sand, islands. Obviously, these have a name. The only reason I didn't list the names of these is because I was unsure and couldn't confirm if they were in fact the actual names, and I didn't do enough research on that specifically because at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter. The point
Right.
is they're there, you can go and do the cha-cha, kill them, and be able to see just different visuals. Like, to me, I don't know how you guys feel, but that feels like space travel to me, and I'm pretty happy about that.
Right. Star-Lord, huh?
Yeah, well, they took it, obviously, from...
You sure?
They obviously took that from Diablo, but did they really take it? Because they own it. So I guess that's...
Actually, they took it from a game called Rift. Just kidding, not really.
Now he made it really awkward, right?
This is the point.
Professions. That's the always exciting professions, right? There's
Yeah.
lots of new recipes to craft. I'm not going to go
Cool.
into those because you'll find them.
It's gonna be a lot of stuff.
They'll be there. But there are new materials that are being added. The new herb is the Astral Glory. The new ore is the Imperium? Question mark? Rem? I'm sure somebody will correct
That's
me.
how I was
Okay.
You crushed it.
fixing it.
There's also a Crocal mining pick that just says allows for faster mining. You don't actually have to have this to be able to mine the new ore, but you'll want to get it, and the only way to get it is to be honored with the Argosian.
Oh, cool.
However
At least
the
you can't.
fuck.
At least you can't just like find it like in Draenor and
Yeah,
then
no, you have to be honored.
vendor it, and then you hate your life.
You have to be honored and then buy it.
Actually, isn't there another ore on Argus?
There's several versions of that same ore, but I'm pretty sure it's just that ore. They have like Imperium dust and Imperium chunks. But
Because when I was running on the Paladin and I saw different veins.
So it's the same. They're just called different. Like, you know how you have the laystone seam and then you have the laystone?
Yeah.
Unless I'm completely wrong, but I did double check. But you might want to check my facts on that, Rem.
No, you're probably right. I was thinking the Argonite for some reason was in one. Never mind.
That's actually a currency.
I know.
Oh, I got you. We're almost there. So for Obliterum, your crafted gear will be upgradable to 935, which is great. Blizzard made good on their promise to make crafted gear continuing to be not the same as raid gear, but equally as important, and it not being trash halfway through the expansion. We appreciate that. You'll need Primal Obliterum to upgrade the crafted gear. Basically, the Primal Obliterum, you take regular Obliterum and Primal Sargonite. Sargerit? Fuck.
Like
Guys,
right.
I'm struggling with this Argus stuff. All this stuff in this patch is really complicated for me to...
Sally sells seashores.
Right. Sargerit? Is that...
Sargerite.
Sargerite. Whatever. So that thing you need, and that'll make the Primal Obliterum. What is the Primal Sagurite? It's going to be the new Blood of Sargeras. You'll get it the same way you get Blood of Sargeras now. It's the same use, the same need, and the same farming manner of being able to get that. But basically, that's the new. It's used in place of Blood of Sargeras for all the Argus. It's not replacing Blood of Sargeras for the pre-Argus stuff. So anything on Broken Isles, you know, obviously you'll still use Blood of Sargeras. But you'll be able to use the Primal Sargerite. You'll be able to use that in the new recipes moving forward. And they did, obviously, they added new flasks, and there's new cooking. There's
new everything.
Yeah, there's new pretty much everything, so take advantage of that. The new cloth is the light weave cloth, which I like. I've been waiting. We need a little light, you know, with some power of the light in the Naru and the air.
You should get a light weave.
Am I gonna have to go somewhere special to craft this shit?
No, I think it drops the same way, it drops the same way.
No, I'm not asking about
He's
it.
talking about crafting it. Like, will he have to go to a
Oh,
specific
I don't think
spot
so.
to create it?
I hope not.
I don't think so.
Just saying.
Not a fan, eh?
I didn't read anything about it. I'll double check before patch, but I don't believe that there's any place special that you have to do it.
All right.
I wouldn't be able to find it because we were on the Vindicar and there's nothing profession related outside of vendors. So there wasn't like a table for tailoring or anything. So I don't think.
Well, that's good.
And then for the new hide is the fiendish leather, which I thought that was kind of cool.
Sounds kind of dope.
New gems. We got the Lights Fiend,
I knew one was going to be tough.
Hesselian,
Nice.
Sounds right.
Shimmerine,
Crushed it.
Dracarys.
Labradite, Argulite.
Labradorite, like a Labrador, but
Fuck you. Argulite, Florid, Malachite. Yes? Question? I think I...
Malachite came back.
He's not helping you anymore. Not after that.
Because it's really... Guys, this stuff is really... It's going to take me at least 2 weeks to learn this stuff and actually be able to pronounce it. Because it's a lot of complicated. And that's just because Argus is special. So...
You're doing great.
Melody's going to be reborn, okay?
There's several mounts I'm not going to go through. You guys can go to the method.gg website. I pulled the most important ones, including the different versions of the mana rays, which I typed manta ray 20 times in this article and actually had to go back and change it because it's not manta ray. But we got the dark moon, whatever that is, but it's a rocket, guys. It's a
I love
struggled
rockets.
saying that one too, actually.
I mean, Secret's got a big pink one.
We've got the
Sure
Glorious
do.
Spell Crusher. There's stuff. So go check that out. It's there. There's also pets, which I'm not going to talk about because that's what we have Gemma for. So I didn't give all the pets. I gave just a tiny version.
I liked it though. I clicked on them and you reminded me of the one for the rating with leash. Not rating with leashes. The rating achievement.
What
Cuticlism?
is that? Derek.
Yeah, no, that yeah.
Or the
think so.
family fighter.
No, you're the cuticalism. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna double check.
So instance content, we've got a new dungeon, the seat of the triumvirate. Dungeon has 4 bosses. Opens the 3rd week of the patch. So pretty much the 3rd week is new raid. The Antorus, the Burning Throne. The raid has 8 bosses. No release schedule as of now, obviously, because we don't even have a patch announcement. So I think we could probably figure mid-September. I'd be surprised if it was sooner, honestly. It might be. I mean, we've been in, I don't know.
Maybe.
And then just some miscellaneous things. The Veiled Argunite. This will be Argos's version of Nether Shards. So important to note, the Nether Shard vendor will still be on Broken Shore, although he's packing up and moving, basically. I don't know if he's copying himself. I don't know how that's going to work. Didn't really check. But you will still be able to purchase any 890 gear from the Nether Shard vendor. I think there's also like 840 gear. I'm not sure. You'll still be, you'll still be able to purchase those if you need them for cosmetic purposes. Can you use it as an alt catch-up for gear? Yes, but I think you're going to want to swap to the Argunite stuff for the alt catch-up for gear because it's going to be a higher item level. So, because it's 910 is what
crazy.
That gear is. So, you'll purchase it from the ethereal vendor. He's actually located on the Vindicar, which is your ship. So, that's your hub. Yeah, but some people for the Nether Shard gear, they want it for cosmetic purposes, which I guess is, you want to be able to use that, especially if you've been farming up those Nether Shards. And it's not a bad way to quickly add gear level to your leveling tunes.
Not at all.
Yeah, so, and then the last one that's a little bit important, the Minari Training Amulet is actually a new heirloom neck, which is kind of cool. Sacrifice 10% of health to increase movement speed by 40% for 10 seconds. It's an on use.
What's the cooldown? A minute?
5 minutes.
I'm
I don't
good.
really know that I would use that, but question mark, I don't know. You guys would know better than me if you would use it, so.
I know I wouldn't, so I guess I won't be buying that.
Yeah, but that is basically the important things to note when it comes to 7.3. Obviously, as it starts to unfold, we'll go through that again, but that's basically going to be your big stuff. I was going to make this a video and do all this stuff, but to be perfectly honest, we're expecting an expansion announcement at Gamescom. I want to wait to see what that brings because I'd rather put my effort into expansion stuff versus patch stuff that's not even going to matter.
Well, that's going to be amazing news. That's going to be like, yeah, I'm waiting.
Well, and they had their quarterly calls. On their call, they talked about a lot of content information being given. It didn't say just World of Warcraft, but Blizzard specifically. Right. So I think I would be surprised if they didn't give us an expansion announcement, to be honest. And I think everybody's pretty much expecting the same thing. So that's the fun time for Bell because Bell gets beta. And that's the only thing I'm good for is new expansion because I have beta. That's the only thing I'm good for is being able to do that stuff. So that's basically your breakdown. If you have questions or you're confused about anything with 7.3, don't hesitate to ask. If I don't know the answer, I will find it. I will figure it out. I will hunt it down. I will make sure that you guys have the information that you need. I was pretty thorough in my research for this to, there's a lot of conflicting information back and forth because the various PTR builds, people get a lot of confusion there. So yeah, pretty exciting stuff for the patch. I'm excited because
it's a whole new
I'm ready to see the view. If you have not had a chance to check out PTR or you're not one of those people that cares, standing on the ship and looking up at the world and seeing Rem pointed out the maelstrom. You could see the maelstrom when you're looking up.
I like where we're headed. It's exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited for the places that we're going, and not to be super mushy, but I'm excited to go with those places with you guys. So
you're so great.
You're not the only one. I think everyone's excited.
Yeah.
Oh.
So with that being said, we have some pets, and more pets, and all the more pets.
That's a lot of pets.
Did I say pets enough? I feel like I didn't say pets enough.
We do, and if you didn't, I'll say pets a few times myself. So we're now in the 3rd week of just like some 7.3 pet patch PTR hype for us pet battle lovers. First, we discussed, raiding with leashes. 5, showed you all the images and talked about where they show up. Last week, we talked about the Family Fighter achievement and showed some of the, the pets that show up in the wild. And now we're going to talk about some more pets, just some more individual pets that drop off some rares, which is really cool. What gets me thinking, when they drop off rares, they should be cageable and sellable. So if you happen to get some of these drop off, some of the rares, sell them, because you'll get them later for cheaper, most likely, right? Or if you're waiting to buy them, wait, and they'll go down in price, because everyone's going to be in Argus killing these rares, and you'll get a chance to go over them. So some of the pets, or the first one we'll look at, is the Cross Gazer. It seems like it has a decent amount of attack power. It has some cool abilities like Nethergate, Tongue Lash, and Interrupting Gaze. I fear this pet is a little slow to be good, though. It still can be good, but some of those abilities I mentioned are better if your pet attacks first. So still very cool. That does drop off a rare. I won't say the name just because I didn't write it down. I could look, but I'm not going to. But yeah, a lot of the ones they drop from rares. I chose this one to talk about mostly because it looks cool, right? And then we've got the Fell Lasher. It seems to be another hard-hitting pet. The Cross Gazer seem to have a lot of attack power. Now, this could change. Obviously, we're talking PTR, but it seemed like Cross Gazer and Fell Lasher are hard-hitting pets. And it also has some cool abilities. You do have to choose between these two because in the same move slot, but Stun Seed and Entangling Roots are cool just because it stuns or goes off after a couple rounds. And then I thought, do you have a question?
I wanted to tell you that the Cross Gazer, it's actually a quest line that you complete on Entoran Wastes. And your Fell Lasher, you get it from Herbalism somehow. The exact drop for the Fell Lasher is unknown, but it is tied to Herbalism.
I like that.
Fun.
Thank you. Belle's up to date on not only her Warcraft stuff, but her pets. And I appreciate that too, because when I'm reading, it just says, it drops from, a rare. So thank you for updating that. The Fell Lasher, yeah, it said unknown. So you're saying probably Herbalism?
It does. The tooltip suggests that it's related to Herbalism, but the
Nice.
exact way it's dropped was not known at the time, because if you look on my thing I wrote, the article I wrote, it actually tells you the current drop from those if you need help.
I like it. It looks decent. It's not like a very detailed pet, and there are other pets like this, but it has a cool ability called Plant. I don't think any other abilities have it, and it just plants roots into the ground, and it will absorb nutrients. While planted, the pet cannot be swapped, so you can stop your enemy from swapping in and out, excuse me. And then for every round spent planted, you gain a little bit of health. It says 177 health, but that could change.
They're gonna drop that. That's kind of
yeah, it's kind of interesting. At least it's a new ability. I saw some newer abilities on some of these pets, so very neat. The Rebellious Imp looks like some of the other imps we already have, but looks a little more rebellious, right? Imps overall are pretty good for pet battles, actually. The neat thing about this imp is it has the ability Portal, and before this, only 2 pets in the game have Portal. That's the Treasure Goblin, and I always mess up the name for it. Where did I put you? It's the collector's edition from... Where did you go? Oh my gosh.
I miss you so.
Yeah, excuse me. The Treasure Goblin and Zeradar. Ooh, struggled there for a moment. So that's cool. Portal basically avoids all damage and then swaps out of battle. So it's a cool way to avoid damage, but also bring in another pet, which is, very, very helpful. What else does the Rebellious Imp have? They have pretty cool abilities. I already explained Portal, right? So yeah, very cool. I hope the stats are good on it. And then I have the Void Shardling. It has some pretty neat abilities like Phase Shift, which is a dodge, Soul Rush, that has a 25% chance to stun. And then if you didn't want to use Phase Shift in that same move slot, the second move slot, you could use Amplify Magic, which will increase your damage by 50% for 2 rounds, which Soul Rush already hits kind of hard. So, thinking about using Amplify Magic and then Soul Rush should do a lot of damage and hopefully stun your opponent. So I like that one. Kind Kind of has that like warlock pet vibe going on. The one thing that was really interesting is Una, and I got a lot of extra information from Belle, which was nice. Una is a creature that is not for pet battle. She waving because she did good, or
No, because because for some reason she disappeared off my transition, so I can't find her.
Una is the ghost of a Draenei child who was killed in the battle for Argus against the Legion. This child's soul is fused to Urzul.
The jury's out on that one, but I'm sure Rem will tell you.
He won't. He'll let me drown. But that is the creepy 5-faced monster mount or whatever that we saw in Argus. Belle showed some pictures of that either last week or...
I'm showing it now also for a refresher.
Ooh, there you go. There's a great refresher. And the Urzul was formed from the tormented bodies and souls of the fallen members of the Army of the Light. So I thought that was very cool. Just as far as the story goes, I wouldn't have known that if Belle didn't tell me. But it is a pet that you don't battle. She almost looks like Ashley, the pet tamer in, I believe it's Shadow Moon Valley. So, of course, all of us that want to collect them all, we'll try to get Una and a lot of the ones that I mentioned. So just so much cool hype around the pets. And I like when there's so many new pets in a patch to collect. The only other one, we don't have a picture for it, but I was just reading, we were talking last week about the Winter Veil pet, and it says Globe Yeti. So it looks like it's going to be another Yeti.
Ooh.
Right?
That's pretty cool.
I was going to save that for next week, but I'm just so crazy. I'm going to talk about it this week.
There's a ton of holiday pets.
Yeah, we talked about Naxi, in previous episodes. That will be the Hollowed
I got
Ends
to see
one.
the live little Legion ship. We seen it on Argus. It was just
Oh, that's
chilling.
cool.
The battle pet. It was just hanging
nice.
out. Yeah, creepy.
Nice, that's sweet. Yeah, you guys sound like you're having a lot of fun in PTR, which is sweet. This Yeti has the Haymaker ability, which is nice. Sometimes you get frustrated with it, but it's nice because it's a 50% chance to hit for a lot of damage. But if you're on the lower end of the coin flip, it can be frustrating, right? Because it's like a coin toss, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, thanks a lot for the extra images. It really kind of adds a visual, obviously. I'm losing it, guys. But we kept it together for the pet segment, and we're excited for more lore, I think.
Sounds awesome.
Flashback to Belle forgetting to put Una the pet in there, so we had to fix that because she was there. I did all this earlier, so I was super prepared, and then she just I noticed as you started talking, I was like, wait, where? I don't see her name.
Where's Una?
Yeah, I put the pet names on there. So,
but that's okay. Where you failed, you succeeded with the story.
I didn't put
right?
the picture of the fell afflicted Skyfin, and I know that did you talk about that?
I did not.
I don't think so.
Oh.
I think last week we showed some of the pets that I didn't really describe.
List. You gave that in my list. I'm just going to show it just for shits and gigs, guys. Just because.
And you brought it up right now, too, so
I felt like I lost my place.
It's my fault. I made you lose your place.
No. Before that,
afflicted Skyfin.
Where is that one?
Sounds pretty neat.
Basically,
I
it
did
looks
write
like
that.
the manta rays to me, but.
Yeah,
okay.
it looks cool. Yeah, a couple of the newer pets kind of look like that, and since you're showing it.
They have a couple color variations that I looked when I was looking at the icons that they had. They have like two or three color variations of this specific one. Same with the mount. It's got a mount that looks like it.
Yeah, it looks pretty neat. It's got.
It looks like it wants to chew your face off. In truth, not any creepier than the Arzul though, which is just super weird that you just fused
that
bodies
mount's
together.
gonna be weird.
Evil after
And it's not just a mount, or you fight Arzuls on Argus, so it's not. It isn't just a mount. You have to fight these. Like me and Rem ran into him, and I was like, "That is just. I can't. That's too
what
much."
nightmares are made of. Yeah.
Were they tough to fight, or was it just
You
you just didn't want it because they're so
It was
oogly?
just really it's a lot different when it's coming at you, which Jim, I'm sure you can understand.
I can.
That correlation. It's scary when it's approaching your.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like some of the new models. A lot that we talked about were reskinned or they've done, but we've got some new models, which is nice.
Fun fact about those Urzuls, those are actually the dead spirits of Draenei children.
So it's not just Draenei
So much
children,
cooler.
because Jimma told us where the Arzuls come from. It's members of the Army of the Light, fallen, tormented body and souls of the fallen
That's
army
code
you
for
liked.
Bell told me. I know I should play it cool, but thanks.
Well, Rem was acting like he was giving new information, but you totally said what the Arzuls were. I don't think he was listening. This is just code. This is just proof that he probably blocked Jimma out.
That's okay.
I was
He's not
looking
the only one.
We all appreciate you, Jim.
Thank you.
We do appreciate your segment. So, actually, it's not lore time because the segments have always gone in order of seniority, guys. Seniority. You want to correct me, Rem?
Sangarita?
Yeah. So we have a segment, a secret segment, and it's not a segment in the traditional sense. He's kind of doing a little bit of a tribute here. So we are going to. It's not, your traditional informative segment, I guess. Content informative is really
Right. Not content based, but community based. Let's put it that way.
So handle your scandal. What is your secret segment?
Yeah. So as you guys are aware, this World of Warcraft, communities, families, friends, we all play this game, right? G-chat, some people pay attention to it, some people don't. We all have a group of friends, a tight bunch of people that we can, confide in with each other. Like, hey, I'm losing my job. Hey, my wife's pregnant. Hey, I just bought a new car. I mean, it is what it is, or I'm really sick and all this stuff.
Belle gets the best text messages and phone calls from her guildies and their shenanigans with
I believe it.
FYI.
Yeah. And I don't get those as much anymore, but, I've always been a huge member of my guilds that I've been a part of, whether it was Forgotten Prophets, Riders of Rohan, Wayward Enforcers. I mean, these are all just people that I've always gotten along with. Belle stole me from her brother, and but I still communicate with him too to make sure he's doing okay. But last week talked about a friend Uvar passed away, stage 4 melanoma. He'd been fighting for 4 years, but he made sure his friends were always aware of what was going on and stuff like that. So no one was in the dark. Everyone, said prayers, made sure he was doing okay, went to go travel to see him. And, it's just reality. This is a big game. We play it because we love it. We play it to escape reality. I play it to escape reality because I'm always in reality the most of my time, my work week. So, when people see me online, it's like I'm grinding to stay away from going outside the house or seeing the sun or cooking dinner. But, my question to everybody is, do you really pay attention to your G-chat? Do you really pay attention when, depending on how big your guild is, Riders is huge. We have a lot of people. Then there's smaller groups that have 20, 30 people. And those are friends that have been around since they started playing World of Warcraft, or they might've found just a random stranger in trade chat looking for a guild and then became friends with them. So my question to you, the community, and whoever watches, listens, stuff like that is, but do you really pay attention? Do you really listen to these people that have, concerns about, what's going on in their life and stuff like that? Because I listen, Belle does, Rem does, Jim does, and a lot of people in Writers, like, even though I'm not always in G-chat as much as I used to be, I still listen. Like, I still read it, and I'll message somebody and say, hey, what's really going on? And everyone remembers Lycan. Lycan has, he has medical problems, and he's made it known, but Lycan's still my friend, and even though I don't reach out like I'm supposed to, like I should as a friend, I'm going to message him after the show and be like, hey, are you still, you still living?
I message him like once every couple weeks and just say, I know I've been really busy, but I'm just letting you know that I love you and I'm still here. Like,
yeah,
just putting my
worry
friend hat
about
on
it
just
too,
to let
yeah.
you know, like, I'm thinking about you. I haven't had, he's busy too because he has a job.
right.
So he's been,
Well,
super...
I can't take two people showing emotions right now,
I know.
okay?
Yeah, but I mean, it's even like reality for my friends from back home. Like, I don't talk to them as much as I used to because just work has me caught up in
Life,
in,
man. Life
yeah,
takes you in
life-
different
life-
directions. It doesn't mean
yeah.
I don't love you because I
and
don't
it's both
stalk you.
parties, and I just want people to understand that, there are always underlinings to people, what they say in trade chat, G chat, and stuff like that. So, it's all situational, but at the end of the day, Secret Sauce is still a real person. Like, I'm not a robot. Like, I still have feelings, and I address those feelings. You don't. Maybe during the holidays, but throughout
I'm
the rest
actually
of
one of the most emotional
does.
people you will ever meet.
I know.
I don't.
Look, I know
show
how
it.
emotional you are when you got emotional about your fucking grill, okay? So so you're real. You're a real person, okay? Yeah,
Are you
it's
talking
just
about the time my husband broke it and then tried to pretend like he didn't break it?
I'm talking about the time I wanted to grill at your house.
Oh, and I had a breakdown because I'm like, nobody touches my stuff. That's my
Yeah, and I didn't listen to you and I went straight
I
outside.
did it anyway. It was
So-
good though. Yeah.
No,
you're right.
didn't. Yeah, I know. But, I ask community base, how close are you really with your guild, with the people that are not your everyday guild members, that just magically show up once every week or couple weeks or month? Do you still check in on them? Like, and this comes back to me like with work. I don't have all my associates like I used to have, but I know these people. Like, I know what's going on with them outside of work, and it's just who I've always been, but that's my background in
Our
schooling.
guild is so used to me and the officer stalking them when they go MIA for real life that they will now tell me, hey, by the way, I'm going to be gone for a month because I'm doing this thing. Or, hey, I'm getting married, so I'll be gone this amount of time. Or, the last time because we hunted Velitrius down, we had neighbors going to
I
his
was about
house.
to say that.
He finally,
Oh, yeah, you guys
I have
are
his
calling
actual house
hospitals
number.
and-
Like,
yeah.
I have his number and I have his address so that I never have to worry about that. But
Yeah, we had a family friend's kid.
they're
go
in
to
the
his house,
habit of
yeah.
telling us now. Like, guildies will say, they'll post in the Facebook group and say, hey, I'm going to be out for X amount of time because
I'm
they
going
know
to the cabin for a week.
I'm going to
Sorta.
find you. If you don't log in and it's abnormal, I want to
Yeah.
know where you're at and what you're doing because I am concerned. I worry that something's not. How would we ever know if I don't make a point to be personal with you? How would I ever know if you died in real life? I would never know.
Yeah.
Versus now,
That's
your
all.
family will tell me because I will stalk all of your family until somebody tells me where you're at and what you're doing. So.
Yep.
Can confirm.
And you should be, even in large guilds. I have a fantastic team of officers that keeps me informed when I can't always be informed about stuff. Hey, so-and-so is having a bad week. They are getting a divorce or, so-and-so is, they're a little bit grumpy in chat. Well, that's because they have stuff going on at home. And sometimes
Right.
you do have to look beyond that. I have several people look at them a certain way and think that they're just dicks or think that they're this or that, but they don't see the things that I see because I understand what they have going on at home or, things that they're going through that I can give them grace because I see beyond that. But sadly, there's not a lot of people who care to do that either.
Right.
So.
But yeah, so I mean, this was really my little segment, and it's kind of funny too because I play a healer. This is kind of like my healing right here.
Your chicken soup for the priest soul.
Pretty much, yeah. So, Uvar, you will be missed.
R.I.P.
Just keep healing, keep fucking totems
He's
down
up there
like
with
all
Biggie
day.
and Tupac right now. So
You're so dumb.
But Tupac's not dead, so it's all good.
He's up there with Varian.
Right. Oh.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was really like my little segment. Yeah. So
It's important. People are people, and it's not
Yes.
just a nameless.
it's not just a game.
Not just a nameless person behind an avatar. It's an actual set of people.
Yeah.
Unless
But-
you're my son, who earlier he's 4 and was playing Overwatch, and he was telling people to suck it. I don't know who he was yelling at because he's not allowed in comms. We mute his the audio so he can't hear other people in chat.
He's been listening to you guys
All
way too
during
much.
raid, you hear him yelling "suck it," and then you have my 7-year-old is downstairs playing, I don't know, Call of Duty maybe, and he was yelling John Cena, and it's going on the whole time through raid, and I'm like, what? And you all,
Oh my
except for
gosh.
Gemma, like you all have met them in real life, so
Right.
like you both know how they are when they're gaming, like. Yeah.
Pimpin' hose.
Okay.
That's what they're doing.
Where did my 4-year-old learn "suck it"? Because I don't even say that. I say other choice phrases.
He probably learned that from Grand Theft Auto. I'm not gonna lie.
Anywhere,
I'm about
yeah.
to cast some shade really quick. So Jimmy Banks could have actually had the chance to meet them,
He could
but
have, but he chose to not.
The Grand Canyon.
He could have had a bed and breakfast situation. I would have made him a meal. He could have showered. He could have rested, and yeah, he chose to. He was this close to us, guys. He'll never be that close to.
I didn't know the Grand Canyon was in Arizona. I really didn't.
All I know is it's in
How
America.
does gravity work?
Right? I was
Apparently
sad when I went to
worked that well in
I
August.
thought that was a lovely segment. It was less depressing than I thought. When I first read it, I was like, oh, God, I'm
Well,
going to cry.
so-
Everyone's going to cry. It's going to depress me. But it
So when I
wasn't.
wrote this segment, right, I literally got up and I was spamming our chat. No one else was responding except Jim because I knew he's up. And I was like, let me
That
get
was
back.
early for West Coast time, actually.
Yeah, I only slept like 4 hours, but I knew I needed to type this because if I didn't, then
Yeah.
I would have super freestyled it, and I didn't want to do that. So,
That's hard.
yes.
Only
so thank
Jim
you.
I can freestyle because
Yeah, I want to hear this.
Well, it made me think of a lot of the short, brief friendships and some of the long-term friendships that I've had, and life's just so short, right? So it got me thinking too.
And I also have people that I have my friends list from Wrath.
One of my
Same.
old friends just reached out. Actually, he's moved away to Mexico and doesn't play anymore. He might be back, but it was good to hear from him. Only know him from
my
Warcraft.
best friends in the world I've met in game.
Yeah.
Some of the people that, even though they might not be in my life anymore on a constant basis, they've changed it forever. Some not for the good. You know,
Right.
it isn't
You
always.
live and you learn.
It is, you live and you learn, and then you get loves. But yeah, it is not always for the better, but it changes you still. They imprint, they leave a marking.
Yeah.
They either teach you how to be a better person, or teach you how to handle things better, or teach you how to, you know, there's lots of things. I still talk to Frieza. He, like, that was.
Is he still active? Did he?
I
phase
think we
out?
lost him a little bit in game, but I know that it's
He's
because
all
he's work.
excited for the mage. And
Yeah,
then,
he's work. I think he, you know, he's just not about that wildlife right now. He's just about.
Right.
Yeah, it's
He
tough.
can't.
He played
time
for a
to-
little while, but I haven't heard. I know somebody messaged me and was like, he's freaking out about my surgery. He thought I was dying, which is kind of funny. I should have just.
Well, it was major surgery, but at least he got a taste of
But
Legion.
I have. There's been human connections that
Mhm.
you can only get
you
if
man.
you're not getting them in real life. Like, I'm not
Right.
orthodox in that manner. I don't go out and make real life friends because the real world doesn't have anything for me, guys. I've been there, done that. I'm 35 fucking years old. I will have lost more friends in the real world outside of gaming than I will ever even remember those friendships, because people let you down. It just is what it is. Gaming friends let you down, but
That's a
I've
different, like, it's a
had
different.
more positives than I have had negatives in being involved with gaming friends and people that really share the passions that I do, where I can have a nerdy moment and I can send them a nerd gif and they'll totally understand, or, you know, we could just send stupid shit and they'll totally get it, and I don't have to worry about what I say or what I do, and I know that I won't be judged, because for all the fuckery that I'm about, they're about the equal fuckery. It's just on a different spectrum.
Yes.
So it's nice to just feel like you belong, and the community, while is not always all accepting, right? They, for the most part, they are, though. Like, there are the exceptions.
Yeah.
Where, you know, I don't like everybody, guys. There are people I don't like, and sometimes you just don't jive with those people. But I've met really, really amazing people that have, you know, well, you guys, for example, but
Changed the world for the better.
Yes,
I do think of us
100%.
during the conversation. I was thinking about.
I have a
the-
couple that
Yeah.
I got the couple from my birthday, and I'll never forget it. We did the Drake parade, right? Belle was all depressed because I don't have, you know, physical friends here in my state at the time. This was before
Right.
Bella moved here. I was very depressed because my husband wanted to throw me a party, but all my friends are on the internet. So how do you really do that? And luckily I have Aja and a ton of great guildies, but we did like a Drake parade, and we got a couple. They're an older couple. I'm not going to call them old because they're not old. They're just older. And they're valued to me, and they, you know, I have a connection with both of them, but I feel like I might have more of a connection with the husband because him and I have similar, you know, backgrounds. But while sometimes people misunderstand certain personalities, I don't, because I get that. Like, people think Rem's an asshole. He 100% is. But I know a different side of Rem, and I don't take Rem personally. The shit that Rem
Not when he's
says-
eating shrimp and crab legs.
Yeah, I don't take anything Rem says seriously. To me, like, people get so offended about the stuff Rem says, and I'm like, really? It's just Rem. Like, I don't.
And on that note, a couple weeks ago, Aja finally able to understand instead of like her like scoffing at me. She's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, for a long time, Aja did not like you at all. Like, whatsoever. She did not want to be social because she did not like you. And it's not a secret now because she likes you now, so I can totally tell it, but she did not. And I would laugh because people would say, "You are the most non-taking shit person I've ever met. How are you okay with that?" Because it goes in one ear and out the other. It does not, I know he's not serious. It doesn't bother me. Like, the
Right.
stuff that he says. You guys at home don't get to see the real Rem. The Rem that constantly makes me want to poke my own eyeballs out because he does this in my ear all the time, and I'm always doing this wrong and I'm doing that wrong, and he's kind of a jerk. But
But you still love him. So
you know, there's things only he'll understand. Like, When I send him
Jerk
poop
off.
selfies, he doesn't question why I'm sending him a picture of me on the toilet. He just accepts it because he just knows that that's something he has to deal with. So, you know.
And all of Snapchat gets to see it sometimes too.
Sometimes I do share the glory of the bedhead, but I feel like it's good to be open with people. I don't really have secrets, guys. I put all my stuff out there. There's no hidden parts of Belle that people have to
We
discover.
do have one secret.
Well, we the sauce of the secret. I think it's important for visibility to just be who you are and be okay with that. All you're weird, guys. Gemma, don't hide your weird. We know you're weird.
I'm letting it out.
You
more.
little by little, you are letting a little bit of that freak out, and I like the nice reserved Gemma that would never make an inappropriate sexual joke. Then you find he does make inappropriate sexual jokes.
It's the summer. I'm feeling more frisky these
Oh
days.
my!
Ooh, that's right.
He's the squirrel rescuer,
That
defender of
was-
the squirrels.
When I was worried about that happening too, and then 5 minutes went by and they were up in the tree and they were all eating like their own nut, just chilling on different branches. Kind of funny.
I'm not mature enough for the rest of that conversation.
Oh, yeah, right.
Now that we did a good job of making sure we ended that on a light note,
There you
thank
go.
you for sharing that.
Yeah. Welcome. Thank you for letting me share.
One, I'm glad he got to have a proper. I was gonna make
Segment.
I was
Departing.
gonna make a Zoolander joke, but it left. Rem knows what I was gonna say, and that's all right because I'm sure he was in my head. So speaking of Rem, hey, I hear there's lore galore. See what I did there?
It didn't work the first time.
I hate you.
She's such a bore.
You're gonna give me a sore. Okay, so for those who may or may not know, Gamescom is coming up next week, and so I am going to jump a little bit farther until we get into 7.3 and speculate on possible class race combos, possible new race, see what's going on with that. And also share a little bit about the validated doomsayers. I wouldn't say soothsayer, but the validated doomsayers. The some of the pamphlets they give off is interesting. Nothing really foreshadowing, but it's kind of humorous. Some of them. So one of the pamphlets from one of them it's the prophetic pamphlet. Sargeras did nothing wrong. We have learned so much about the Burning Legion in these last few months, and yet nobody is daring to voice the truth. Sargeras must succeed in his mission. Ours is a world embraced by evil. The soul of Azeroth has been under siege since before life began here. If evil wins, I think they misspelled that. If evil wins, our entire existence will be spun into a realm of horrors, the likes of which we cannot imagine. And despite the efforts of our greatest heroes, the darkness has not yet been completely eradicated.
Did you say whores or horrors? Because one of those doesn't sound terrible to me. I don't know what happened.
Whoa. I think
There's a glitch in the Matrix.
He was frozen, so I thought he did it on purpose.
well,
So
we'll
I
keep-
also did it.
I think he's figuring it out, but that's okay. We'll keep the good times rolling. Apologize about those tech issues.
Because we had too many horrors.
Yeah, there was a glitch in the Matrix, but I do need to know, did you mean whores or horrors? Because one of those doesn't sound bad. Oh, okay. Not as fun then as I thought it was possibly going to be.
Yeah.
Cheaper though.
Well, it depends on what side of town you're on. Not that I know anything about that whatsoever.
Damn.
You okay?
That's when you know it's real.
You okay, hon? All right.
I inhaled.
Mm-hmm.
So the prophetic pamphlet, the last part is, if they cannot do it the right way, then by all means allow Sargeras to have his victory. It would be better to die quickly by his hands than to languish in the clutches of evil for eternity.
Sounds intense.
So the evil they're referencing is the void, the old gods, obviously.
I like how he says, obviously, like we should know, because I don't know what that means.
Right?
You're talking to somebody who got freaked out because I got the freaking mage staff and it was whispering shit to me, and I'm like,
That's true.
This is not right to me.
But it's referencing that the evil is the void and the Burning Legion is all salvation.
Not, but no.
I mean, everyone has a Charles Manson, so.
Fuck, man.
I don't even know what to say to that, to be perfectly honest. I'm not really sure where to go from here. There's nowhere to go but up.
Right? There's another pamphlet that you may have the chance to get. It's called a demonic pamphlet. It speaks on enemies among us. The demons are hiding among us, watching, waiting. They shroud themselves in a cloak of magic, taking on the guise of our friends and allies. The moment you put down your guard, they will strike. And so you must strike first. Your allies are not what they seem. Rip apart the illusions. What are they hiding? And find the truth. Trust no one. Trust no one. Trust no one.
Isn't
Trust
that
no one.
don't dreadlords like aren't usually...
Yeah, that's actually part of the like one of the things that you can do on Dalaran was you would find one, snuff it out, and you could kill the demon that was guised as a random person in Dalaran. And actually, for the demon hunter,
they have the ability to see them, right?
That and
Demon
the part of the when you're leveling it and the starter for demon hunters, you find the demons that are hiding as guards and they attack, and so
interesting.
You might see a little bit of that maybe. So this one is a scribbled pamphlet. We didn't listen. We could have saved ourselves. We could have accepted Legion's redemption and given into its glorious destiny of fire and sulfur. We could have listened. Our souls would have joined the Burning Legion in its majestic crusade. But we didn't. Azeroth's so-called champions, us, obviously, because we're champions, chose to resist what could not be resisted. They made war on an enemy with an infinite army. They have damned us all. Our doom hangs in the skies above us. All we can do now is pray that Sargeras grants us a merciful end when he purifies this world with fire.
So they're like pro Sargeras then?
Yeah.
Huh.
They're nuts. They're gonna drink the punch bowl of Hellfire.
They're drinking the Kool-Aid.
So back to the Gamescom. So it's been rumored, leaked, everything in between on Reddit on possible class race combos that I've been thinking about since before Legion, and also Blizzard has been hinting at sub races for a long while. Now, sub races is you're still going to be a dwarf or a human, but there's different sex like SECT.
Right.
So you have the dwarves, you have the Wildheimers, you have the Iron Dwarves, you've got
You're saying that they've hinted for a long time that that's a possibility in the future for us?
a possibility in the sense that they would like to do it. They have
Like you have like the Frostwolf clan, right? Like that
Right.
type of
yeah,
thing.
like you have the Frostwolves, you have the Mok'Nathal, stuff like that, and you could go into like for Blood Elves, you have the High Elves, which is part of the Dalaran, the Kirin Tor.
What would that provide us in game?
Purely cosmetic at that point.
Okay, got it.
It'd be like Wildhammer dwarves have markings on their face. They have a lot of tattoos. They are more of the shamanistic and the dwarven riders by themselves. The Griffin riders. Humans could be like that's because I mean even if you would be an Arathorian, you still wouldn't have anything different about yourself.
Right.
You could maybe do like a Vrykul kind of thing where you're kind of bigger because we are the descendants of Vrykul. Undead, you could have other races for the undead, which
Right.
that'd be a huge overhaul though.
That'd be huge, like to have like a undead Draenei.
Yeah.
Like that. That'd actually be really neat though, I'm not gonna lie.
It'd makes sense. I mean, it makes sense in the sense
Do you think it's complicating things?
it's giving
It
us
could.
options. It's
Yeah.
it can complicate things, but I
It
like
already
the idea.
takes me 3 hours just to pick a fucking name for a new character. Let alone, we haven't even gotten to the visuals, right?
But I mean, we could have trolls that are standing upright, like the Zandalari. That brings me to my next point. So some of the class and race combos that we could possibly get that I've been considering very real possibility for future content would be in the Paladin Order Hall. When you're getting everything done, you have a priest that joins you, Deles Moonfang, and so essentially a Paladin is just a priest that's taken
Right.
up hammer to defend and takes on a more military role. And so by those not only laws, but by that lore and by that story, if anything can be a priest, they could essentially be a paladin. And the biggest argue of that would be the undead paladin, because the holy and the light, it causes them immense pain to use it. And I think the only reason why they really allowed it was because of Shadow Priest and because of just it would be the mechanics of the game wouldn't be like on par, because you have to have balance of classes and stuff like that nowadays. But they can kind of bend the lore. And for instance, Taurens being paladins based on Anshi being sunwalkers. Anshi is one of their spirit, one of their gods essentially. Also, troll paladins, because Zandalari have maintained that and have the ability to do that, and it's very real that with us maybe in the next expansion having Zandalar, the island, come into play, maybe we learn that kind of we learn that from them or pick it up, and maybe we may not join forces, but maybe a small group of them comes out and helps us out, like the monks. Another one would be actually very interesting, Blood Elf Druid, because they are descendant of elves, and anyone can be a druid. You just have to put in the effort of learning it. It could be interesting for sure. Panda druids, they are very zen and one with nature. That's a very real possibility, and it would work thematically and in the mechanics of the game. One that someone said would be Orc Druid, but I don't see that one at all. But no, Draenei and Tarn can't be rogues. Their hooves.
I'm so sad.
Because they're fucking ginormous. Like, you can't be stealthy, mofos.
Yeah, one person had an argument that the Rangari were brought into play and during WoD, and
Still weird when people say WoD.
Warlords of Draenor, sorry. You forget the fact that they're hunters, they're not rogues.
Yeah, right.
So
I mean, they're stealthy hunters.
Yeah.
Let me go that route.
But something that I'd be really excited about would be Draenei Warlocks. And the reason why they have not been Warlocks is because of the fact that they're running from the Legion and they have not succumbed to the Fel and the Void. And so...
And they're all about the light, too, so...
Yeah, so with us defeating a portion of the Burning Legion and taking on a new foe, and the fact that Velen forgave Kill Jaden, maybe we can see a form of them taking on the enemy's power and using it against them.
Or maybe there'll be a new spec of Warlocks.
That'd be interesting if they did another overhaul. Not only overhaul, but like...
Leave the Warlock alone. Seriously, like, leave it alone. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
I didn't say it was
broke. We don't
broke.
need another spec. We don't need any sub-sex or whatever the fucking shit you said earlier. We don't need your bullshit. Okay? We good.
It's too bad. It's probably going to happen.
We good.
Pandaren Death Knight, it wouldn't work in the sense that because you start on Archaris and you are raised from the gate. But we do have a Pandaren Death Knight that's actually in the Broken Isles. So it's also another possibility. But yeah, it's the new expansion and the information that we get from Gamescom. I almost said BlizzCon. Getting hyped for BlizzCon. Sorry. So it can open up a whole avenue of lore and possibilities for more race class combos, which
And
I'm all
they've
for.
done Noble, and the lore people have been doing lots. Have not looked at anything lore related whatsoever because I want to just experience it in game. The cinematics are left out of PTR, so I will. Some people have them. I don't know how. I don't watch any of that. I don't do any of those things because I don't want to ruin anything that I have going for myself. I like to just naturally and organically. There's a lot of stuff that's labeled spoilers that I'm sure some of you might already know at home. So when we're coming, when we're talking about that stuff, this is us not researching that because we don't look at that. Like, I'm sure Rem doesn't want to spoil it for himself either. So he probably hasn't looked at a lot of the. Nubble just came out with another video, a really big video that WoW had posted and World of Warcraft posted, and it's this big deal. But it was labeled spoilers, and I'm just not ready for that. So
Yeah, I actually haven't looked into too many spoilers so far.
when you're getting our what we think or what Rem thinks, it's actual legit because he's not pulling from.
He doesn't know it.
Yeah, he's not pulling from anything spoiler related.
So this is more of a want than a possibility. Is if they brought in what we think is the next expansion with Cool Terrace and Azoth and taking on not only the true Void, but taking on the Void head first, I would really like to have Ethereals be a playable race. So
That'd have been pretty cool.
the small backstory on them is they were
Not much you could do visually, though.
Oh, I mean, no, hello?
They have bandages
you can have,
from their body. What could you really
you can
do?
have
Change
different,
the color of the bandage?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can have different hues of your arcane energy behind the bandages. You could have different types of bandages. I mean, there is possibilities of different things you could do. But I just love the Ethereals, just the way they look, the story behind them. So the small story is they are from a world called I'm gonna butcher it because I've never even.
You're gonna get something wrong? Interesting.
KRS.
KRS?
KRS
1?
Yeah. So it's they were a sophisticated race, pretty much like the Draenei were, where they were technologically advanced.
That was a big word for you.
Jesus Christ, it was. So they were there is no backstory on how this Void Lord found them, but Dimensius, all devouring, you actually take care of him in one of the raids in TBC, not the raids, the dungeons. And does it show Argus on there now?
So this is in the latest build that happened tonight on PTR. So proof and confirmation that Argus is probably the 29th.
Looks like shit, but
well,
I see it.
Because it's gonna mess up my camera if I fix the zoom. But
okay.
Argus is showing in the corner of the map for Broken Isles for the latest deployment.
Yeah.
The latest build in 7.3.
Oh yeah, they don't do the map thing until it's. Oh yeah.
Y'all.
You right.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to.
So the Ethereals were from a world called Karish Karu, and Dimensius.
Kalaka to you too.
Yeah. Dimensius comes in and pretty much does what Ner'zhul does on Outland, where he just opens a shit ton of portals, and it causes chaos. And pretty much tears apart the world. Void energy, arcane energy, just shooting everywhere, and because of them being sophisticated, they actually made barriers to hold off the void energy. Unfortunately, the arcane energy shot through the barrier, and that's where you have what they are now, where they are held together by the bandages, and they absorb so much arcane energy that they become pretty much entities of what they used to be, but not like of the flesh. And
so they
were
eat and drink like we do. No,
probably not.
But do they go to the bathroom? And do they
Good
use the
question.
bandages that are on them to wipe because it's convenient or nah?
I mean, that's a good question.
In the mind of Belle, guys, these are questions only I can think of. Okay, I'm hard-hitting journalism right here.
So they have been in hiding in the Twisting Nether, coming out every so often to Outland, and actually on Legion right now. That you deal with them at the in Northrend. I can't remember where the blue dragons, Malagos, and all that, Eye of Eternity, and all that good stuff. So you have different factions or affiliations that broke apart. And my assumption would be if they were to bring Ethereals into the fold of being a playable race, the Protectorate are the good guys. They could be what we become, not only what we become, but what they could be, the faction that we could be playing as. The Ethereum are the bad guys. They want revenge against the Void, and they becoming pretty much self-harmful to their race. The Consortium are more of just merchants. They're the ones that are traders and the ones that we are usually dealing with. And then something that's been hinted at and not only rumored but almost leaked would be playable as Naga. That could be really interesting because of the fact that South Seas is rumored, not only rumored, but a very real possibility if Cool Terrace and all those islands come into play. So that would be interesting, but they're not, what's the word, bipedal. So what do you guys think how that would work? Would they just keep the tails, or would they be like transformed to have legs?
They would probably stay the same that they are. They would just slither
like
away.
that one Harjatan guy. He's got legs.
He has legs, but I mean, he's not full Naga either. So
He's a Naga brute, though. He's like the Nagas on steroids, right?
Yeah.
No, I feel like he's the Nagas on steroids.
I mean,
Like the
yeah.
females are the smaller Nagas and he's the male Nagas. Would that make sense? I just want to keep saying Naga because it sounds really good to say. But I feel like
right.
I don't think I've ever seen a small male Naga like I see the females.
You know, the male Nagas are traditionally the more brutish, kind of bulkier ones, but
Because they on the juice, son.
something like that.
That's right.
Yeah. The females are more sorceresses and healers. I mean, they're very stereotypical.
They got gap teeth too. Did anybody ever notice that, or am I the only one that's ever noticed they have a gap tooth? The only one. Got it. Okay.
You probably died of them too many times.
I notice things most people wouldn't, for sure, because I just am weird like that.
But so back on the class, the race class combos, we have NPCs that hold the class. So you have Orcish Priest. Actually, you okay? You have Orcish Priests that are the part of the Shadow Priest spec, and that could play into being game mechanic wise. They could be disc and holy and all, just for the sake of it being playable. But I'm really interested in what they will unveil at Gamescom in terms of lore. And
is that in
they
Calagny?
What?
Calagny, Germany? No.
Oh yeah, Calagny. Yeah. But yeah, that was just me summarizing what I want to happen for Gamescom.
The sub-race conversation was a nice conversation to have. I don't know a lot of people that talk about that openly, like in regards to lore. I think that's really nice. They had a Reddit leak recently that I laughed at people when they were like, look guys, they leaked the next expansion. Fuck off. So there's a lot of Reddit leaks that seem pretty legit. It's not that difficult to draw from the various things we've been through and the places we still need to see to kind of surmise what could possibly and potentially happen, right? All ideas come from somewhere. So there was I don't know if you read it, Rem. To me, some of that stuff was really stupid. Something about I forget the Death Knight. Somebody was like, oh, there's going to be Panda Death Knights. like for sure confirmed.
I think I read that.
Yeah, and I'm like that.
Nothing for
of
sure.
all
Like
the things
ever.
that they could do, I don't see them wasting it on a Panda Death Knight, in my opinion.
The story does make sense in this because they are using dead bodies from Broken Isles. But again, like I said, you start on Archeris as
Right.
Death Knight, so it wouldn't make sense at all.
Yeah, I would just believe half of what you see and just know that really nobody's leaking any information anywhere. Blizzard's got that shit locked the fuck down. The supposed leak that happened pre-Legion, some of that stuff was kind of accurate, but I think we knew that anyway. It wasn't a big shock and surprise, to be perfectly honest. So,
Well, isn't there a guy that's leaked the expansion? Like,
but it was not right on. It was maybe
Yeah, well,
I mean, but
25.
it had like the main points were
Maybe
Right.
25% of it was correct. But it's not that difficult to get 25% of an expansion correct, especially given what we've been through in the whatever current expansion you're in. Typically, by the time you're at the end of the expansion, we pretty much know where we're going anyway. We didn't know we were doing the Legion thing. I was kind of pissed off when Legion first happened because I'm like, seriously, how many expansions are we going to deal with the Legion? Because I'm kind of getting tired of it. But when you think about it, that's what our whole process has been about, is fighting the Legion. It's the
Well, yeah,
you
and
know,
the Legion lore is huge. So
yeah. So and it wouldn't make sense, I think, if we just fought the Legion once and we were done. Like if there's badasses they say they are, or that lore or in gameplay has made us believe, we really should be fighting them, quite a few times. So, yeah, I think that was a good conversation to have, Rem. I really appreciate that.
Well, I saw a lot of talk of it in the World of Warcraft groups, and I've
Yeah,
been thinking a
that's-
lot about it with Gamescom and everything.
That's where I get
happening.
my topics to
And so-
talk about. Is I like to see what other people are talking about, and I don't want to spoil stuff for myself. So it's.
I just want to be where the people are.
I do want to see him dancing. Yeah, I think that was really great information. So, Jimmo, what did you do this week in World of Warcraft?
I did a little bit of PvP. Sometimes when I'm on earlier, I wish I had more PvP friends, but I did realize while we were just chatting, I don't have my Squirky pet yet. What? I need that Squirky
It
pet.
takes like 5 seconds to go get.
I know. That's why I couldn't believe that I didn't have
What
it.
is that
So
Squirky pet?
it's like a Murloc.
It's
like
it's the yellow block.
Oh,
yeah, I should have had it.
There's an
like,
island
as soon as
the
you get-
left side of Azuna. You go and you
I should have
kill,
a Sansa, yeah.
go and kill, and you do a quick little battle, and it takes 2 seconds. The battle was like easy.
Yeah.
It was easy money.
So I'll have that next week for my week in WoW, and then just some World Quest stuff. Really light, doing a lot of things summer wise, like outside of game, but getting some game time in. Wish I had a little bit more though, but just some miscellaneous stuff.
Miscellaneous meaning just everything.
Kinda.
What about you, Secret?
leveled alts, did invasions, geared out the Horde tune some more. No mythic dungeons at all this week, which was kind of depressing. But the group that I run with, we've all just been really busy with work, so we really haven't had a chance to do anything. And I mean, it's not WoW related; it's Blizzard related. I was playing a lot of heroes instead, so having fun. And I'm using a WoW character. Does it count? Not really.
I mean, it counts.
Yeah, varying all day.
Pretty similar.
Yeah.
FYI, when people are doing their segments, don't load a random YouTube video on your phone.
Cool.
It will flash weird shit in your face and scare the crap out of you. So
fine.
luckily it was muted. Otherwise, you guys would have heard the sound. But don't ever click on stuff because it's a bad time. Yeah.
What were you
You've been
looking
on. I've
up?
seen you on quite a bit. I know you have the other guild, but I see you on in ours quite a bit.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm doing my other tunes and stuff like that. So I'm trying to get the monk to 110 now. Got that one. Did 2 levels today, so that was pretty cool.
What's the monk's name?
Punch Monk Love. Yep.
Copy on the confusing.
Okay.
Got it.
Pretty good name.
Is it? It's not a writer's tune, is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's in writers too.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
With you need my DPS tune. That never got used.
Oh. My favorite's still DPS
I guess
banging.
we didn't need it.
I
DPS
guess
bang.
not.
Well, I don't know. Between DPS banging and Pop Bottles, Pop Bottles was probably my ultimate favorite name of all your tunes names. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
I remember thinking this guy and his names. This is before I really knew you. I'm like, he's got the coolest names, and then I met him. And I was like, yeah, he's not that cool in real life.
Fuck you. You're dumb.
Just kidding. Rem, what did you do this week in World of Warcraft?
I did PTR stuff.
We attempted to finish.
Attempted until
I
it
got
DDoS.
cock-blocked by Blizzard.
Literally, almost. A lot of the alt stuff, a lot of miscellaneous world quests, catching up on stuff on the alts. Apparently, we need a hunter for the raid, so I told them I'd do that. But not really. But,
We don't need a hunter
actually,
for the raid. We have fucking 5.
that's not what I heard.
You're being facetious. You just
I
want to
need-
do a priest, that's all. He wants to
I
do his priest,
I actually
guys.
want to get everything ready for raiding, so I'm gonna start pugging normals and getting geared and all that. So if you have keystones, I'll do them.
Will work for Mythic Pluses.
Oh man.
I didn't have a lot of game time last week as I wanted because the kids went back to school. So because my husband's new career choice, he's no longer needed here to help man the tiny child while I work, because I work from home. Since all the kids go to school now, he can now be free to go and do things for him instead of having to be at home with the little ones, so that, you know, mom can work and be on work calls. So he's focusing on his career, and to be announced or whatever, whenever he all is finalized and said and done. So in the spirit of that, I don't normally get up until like 9 because I don't have my first conference call until 10:30. So I do, like, I don't get up until 9. I get up, I work, and then I go to the gym. But I've had to get up at like 6:45, 7 a.m. every day because I need to get used to being the one that gets
It's
them
called
up.
being adulting.
Well, now we're switching, you know, where he's gonna go and do things, and I am gonna be here still working, but
Right.
I'm gonna be the one taking them and picking them up and stuff. So I'd rather just, even though we're a couple months away before he's completed with his phases, I just don't want to be culture shocked, so I'd rather just do it now. So I'm total domestic all week. Like, I do their school lunches, and I get them ready in the morning, and he does the nighttime stuff, so he gives them bath and puts them to bed. Anyway, long story, not important in my week in WoW. However, the offset to that is I can no longer stay up until midnight and game. So by the time I'm done being domestic and making dinner and getting on the computer, I have, we have maybe 2 hours of game time. Sometimes it's maybe an hour if I'm doing something guild related or, you know, working on something.
Average, spend about like an hour and a half.
So normally, you know, during the week, I have a group of people that I run Mythic Pluses with, and I haven't been able to do them because the only time I get, I have to do my to-do stuff. Like, there's stuff that I need to get done, and I'm leveling the mage, which is a nightmare, but I just don't like mages, so I'm making myself do it because I know that once I level it, it's probably going to be fun. It's not fun right now. So
Except
I haven't,
when you realize, JK, it's not fun still.
I haven't had much time to do stuff. I'm hoping this week it will be, now that I'm used to the schedule, I can get, you know, be able to do Mythic Pluses and I won't be so tired. So guys, it's been rough. Rough doesn't even begin to describe it. I was up before the fucking roosters were crowing, and I'm legit like, who lives this life? Why am I up before the sun is even out? But I've been working from home for almost 5 years now. I have a very different life than what I used to when I commuted. So it's so weird that I actually have to get up. You know, my husband's always been the one that does it because when I was doing my career, and we have our own business, so he makes his own schedule. He never had to. It's just tough being an adult, guys. It's hard.
Mm-hmm. Especially with career
Thanks,
changes and
JK.
stuff like that.
But a couple weeks I'll be adjusted to it. It'll be easy, and it'll just be my normal routine, and it won't be. But I'm hoping to be able to do Mythic Pluses with my buddies this week because I've missed them. So, and I feel bad because I always see them in chat asking for Mythic Pluses from people, and I'm like, I have to be lame and hope they don't ask me because then I have to say no because I have no time to do anything. But they're pretty understanding and get it. So that's pretty much what I did. I did the alt stuff that I could do. I did get the mage through Draenor, so I got to revisit Draenor. Guys, the leveling was like 3 hours, and it was 10 levels. It's stupid easy. I think they nerfed or upped the XP. I'm not really sure what they did there. But it was easier than taking all the alts through when we took them through. Even with the elixirs of the Rapid Mind, it was like
That don't drop anymore.
No, but luckily I had 2 on my Death Knight from when my Death Knight went through Draenor, and yeah, they were going for 97k in the auction house. I'm like,
Wow.
yeah, probably not gonna do that. But I want to race change my mage. I want to race change my mage to the gnome, but right now because of Destiny's horse shit, tokens are 150k. I'm not paying 300k to race change my gnome. It's just insane.
No.
So, kind of sad about that because race change is $25. The race change really should be $10. They should really stop nickel and diming me for every. I mean, my soul is already.
Nickel and diming or nickel and diming? 'Cause I heard...
What did I say? Did I say pimple? I don't know what I said, guys. I'm tired. So yeah, that's pretty much what I did. Just not as much, time as I wanted, but
But you still got some time in, so.
I
Very
log in
productive
every day at least. Check
Yeah.
on the guild at least. I've been raiding. We got Avatar down after a gajillion and 20 fucking wipes, and then now we're working on Kill Jade, and I think 16 wipes is what we were at today. But we got, I think our lowest was 48% question mark. To be fair, there's a lot of soak mechanics. Like, it's soak every fucking 5 seconds in every single one of these bosses. So.
And everyone has to soak this time.
Then I'm going to tell you guys a story about that. So.
Super soaker.
I haven't watched any Tomb of Sargeras videos on any of the bosses because you guys know that's not my style. I make everybody else do it, but I don't do it. I don't learn that way. I learn by dying and learning through my death, and I know, okay, I don't repeat that same thing. Then I do another thing wrong, and okay, I don't repeat that same thing. So I'm in Zoom with a couple friends while I'm in Curse/Twitch chat. So Zoom is where we're just chatting in between boss pulls and stuff like that. Because there's no really talking in raid chat. So not enough people are soaking Armageddon, right? So Softy says, people are kind of clumped up in one spot. We can't really get the Armageddons. So I make a suggestion. I don't really ever suggest stuff in raid, but I thought, how about we, break people up into quadrants and you put people in a corner and put each set of ranged and melee in their corner. That way, when Kill Jaden goes to those specific corners, there's a set of people that are responsible for those. So you're not going across the map. I'm thinking I'm cutting edge here with my raid input, guys. I'm super proud. And it's working. We're doing better with the Armageddons because we've done... And I'm super like, yes, I had a thing. And it was a great idea. I'm the raid strategist of the century. So then Softy says... I said, wasn't that a good idea? I feel like that was a great idea. And he's like, yeah, but it wasn't your idea. And I was like, was it your idea? He was like, no. He goes, I don't want to tell you. I'm going to let you have your moment. Oh, okay. Wait,
That's
whose
funny.
idea was it? I'm like, it was in a video, wasn't it? And he goes, yeah, it was in a video. He goes, there's actually several strategies that implement that same thing. And I was like, well, apparently I'm in tune with that because I've never seen a video, and yet I picked that as I could totally be a raid analysis person. No? Nobody's buying it? None of you are buying it. Got it. Okay.
You could.
Well, I just
Yeah.
want you guys to know that I had an idea, and the idea was a good idea, so good that other people were actually doing it already.
Well, that's impressive.
If you're the people that raided with me, I didn't steal that idea from a video, guys. I didn't even know because I didn't watch the videos. Don't tell the rest of the raid team. I didn't watch the videos.
They know.
You never do. You never
I also
have.
don't use my defiled augment runes all the time because I forget to bring them to raid because they're on my alts because I don't have them on bell.
Hey, does anyone have any runes?
Should have brought them.
Because the 4 people that didn't have runes are the reason the 2 people at the very end didn't kill Avatar at 1%. There's literally a healer and a DPS up. I kept saying I was screaming in Zoom. I wasn't doing it in raid chat, but I was screaming Res Cash because I knew if Cash would have been up, it would have been money. But anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was
money.
anyway. Oh, I see. Oh, see, I did catch that one. So I want to, before we close out, I want to tell you guys, last week I did not hear Rem's pun. Now, I just want to say I asked Rem the other day, what did you say? Like, I didn't hear it in playback when I rewatched the show, and it was muggy comment, and I said, even if I had heard it, I wouldn't have acknowledged that because that was bad. Guys, don't applaud him for bad puns. Make him be better.
Cringe puns are the best.
No, they're not the best. So with that said, guys, I think we had a great show. I'm exhausted. It was a little bit, it was one of our lengthy shows, which is nice. I know you guys prefer them. Make sure you follow Jimma Banks on Twitter at Jimma Banks. Make sure you follow him on Snapchat at Jimma Banks. Make sure you follow at Secret Sauce 101 on Twitter and at Secret Sauce. I think it's just at Secret Sauce for Snapchat, right?
Maybe.
And then Rem on Twitter is at remedies_PWNCAST for Twitter. And then for Snapchat, it is at RemedyZen.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I was making sure that I was right. I had to think about that. And for me, I'm pretty open to the public. That sounded really weird.
You better not hesitate on that word.
Let's not make that weird.
All right.
Twitter
I'm
at
pretty.
Belle of PWNCAST, and then on Snapchat is at Samantha is it. Feel free to follow and see all of our weird Snapchat things. Jimma, by far, probably has the best Snapchat of all. I don't go many places, guys, so you're getting several versions of my selfies in bedhead and whatever random domestic shit I'm doing, and occasionally some funny Snapchats. 90% of the time, they're the same because I don't really leave the house.
Right.
Jimma does lots of things with animals.
Sure does.
I heard he was the voyeur.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go to the gym, the grocery store, and home. Those are my 3 points of travel. Those
Human
are my flight
contact.
points here in my town. I don't have any other flight points discovered. Rem can confirm because I don't really leave the house. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for spending your hour and a half, 2 hours with us every week. Make sure you comment if you have any questions. I have not answered any emails or responded to a lot of comments last week, and I do apologize, but as I explained in my non-WoW related topics, being an adult and a parent is hard. So I will make sure that I get myself caught up this week. Yeah, comment, like if you are an iTunes listener. Hold, please. We did have someone. We had a people. I don't remember if I read it, so we'll close this out. I want to make sure that I acknowledged him. I don't remember if I read it, but I did. I don't think I did. I think the last one I read, you guys made fun of me because it said the best podcast featuring Belle, and you guys thought I made that up. So this was actually on July 12th, and it's by Jersey9986, and it says, I'm hooked. Gave us 5 stars, and I fucking lost it. Seriously? My phone is against me, guys.
Because you have Apple.
It says, hey all, I absolutely love the podcast and the hard work you guys put in every week to make this possible. I just started playing WoW after a 2-year hiatus, and you guys keep me entertained and informed of changes. The best is I get to listen to you guys while at work. I look forward to playing with you guys in the future if interested. I do have his battle tag information,
For sure.
which we will copy that down later. But he is 4 shadows on Zul'jin, which is pretty awesome. Thank you for...
Does he have keystones?
Yeah, do you have keystones? Because don't forget we have the tank. Begins with a B.
Bismar.
Besmar, right? Besar? Besmar. I thought didn't think there was an M.
Besmar.
Besmar. Okay, so there was an M. Yeah, he asked me a couple weeks ago, and I didn't get a chance. I'm sure he knows I've been busy, but yeah, take advantage. He's a tank, and he's really good. So, yeah. So, once again, we're going to go ahead and get on out of here, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, watch, email. Chug a beer. Chug
a beer.
I have a lot in the fridge.
Chug a lug.
Also,
Better not be Bud
we
Light.
had some small hiccups in the
It's not.
backer
Dos Equis?
items. The poster people and the t-shirt
Okay,
people.
I approve.
The poster people and the t-shirt people for the Kickstarter items pissed me the fuck off. But hopefully we'll get the right stuff this week because
We shall see.
we've yelled and done things, but it was not the quality I wanted. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get on out of here, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
You're all thank you.
That was his customer service voice.
So,
Right?
I have to take this Band-Aid off. The stitch is popping out of my neck, guys.
No.
So there's one lone stitch, and when I tried to pull it out with tweezers, it's like attached to like part of the inside of my neck.
Have Steven do it with his teeth.
It's popping out, and I think it's like getting infected. That's why I covered it with a Band-Aid. It's fine. It's just
I didn't even notice the Band-Aid till you said
I didn't even know it was there.
because it's like camo, right?
Well, that and you didn't like move your head around a lot.
No, but my hands were all over the place because I was really tired. I'm trying to stay awake.
Yeah, are we done?